Hello everybody, this is James Diamond with GlockCNC.com, and we are very excited to show you our new product, and that is a BT-30 headstock for Sherline, Taig, or even your custom mill application. Some of the beautiful parts about this thing are that you can either use a simple drawbar with it, or you can use a full ATC or automatic tool changing system, which involves a pedal clamp system. Now, here is some of the questions I know you guys are going to have right away. Some of you guys are going to wonder, okay, the BT-30, I'll show you what that looks like. This is the tooling. This is a commercial grade piece of tooling that you'll find in a lot of professional environments and factories. And some may wonder, well, okay, is that going to be too big for my Sherline or my Taig? Another question people are going to wonder that we'll talk about in this video is, okay, now there's already R8, you guys sell R8, and there's the Tormach tooling system. Is it really any better than that? And oddly enough, that is a question that we also wondered when we went ahead and started testing this, and I'll talk about the very specific reasons why. And finally, what we'll talk about is, because this is a pre-sale offer. This is a pre-sale offer, which means that we are selling some of these already, and it's going to be about a 90-day delivery time between all the suppliers and parts and everything come into us. We're doing some pre-sales and offering some really good rewards or bonuses for free upgrades to those who take advantage of it right away, because all of it is going to be limited. All right, so let's get into it. Let's first talk about that question is this thing going to be too big for my mill? Here's the quick answer. If you can see behind me over here, that is our current model of headstock that we sell for the RA and the ER series. We sell those all over the world and people love them, and the size is just right for those mills. Now, here is the new one, right? Now this is the new, this is about the size of it. This is not what it's going to look like. This is a 3D printed, just kind of rectangle to hold the bearings and everything, right? But this is about the approximate size, and this is only slightly larger than what we already sell. And the reason we've been able to make this thing so compact is we're able to use pretty good sized bearings in there, and by using pretty good sized bearings, we're able to sink the actual tool holder way up into the headstock. That way you can make sure that you have as much of your Z-axis intact as possible, and you've got a good robust headstock. So to answer that question, it's actually a really good size for small mills. Now let's talk about the question that a lot of people are probably going to wonder is, well, is this really having any advantage over using an R8 system or an R8 system as the Tormach tooling system? We had kind of the same question, and I'll tell you why we even kind of wanted to go down this route, and it's this. The reality of it is that here is a spindle bearing. Anything that goes between the spindle bearing and the cutter itself is going to add a certain amount of error or runout. So now you'll have an actual spindle arbor that goes in here. That's going to have some runout to it or error, although it's going to be very minimal. But what happens when you use a Tormach tooling system is this. This collet is going to have a certain amount of runout or error. The tooling system that goes in this is also going to introduce a certain amount of runout or error. And now we have a problem, what's called error stacking. So now we have runout or error on top of error on top of error, and by the time it actually gets down to the cutter itself, we ended up having, and a lot of our customers also ended up having, more inaccuracy than what they really wanted to have. Now you might also think to yourself, well, how about if I just use the collet itself directly holding the end mill? Yes, you are definitely going to get better accuracy out of that. But the challenge is, even some of the really, really good collets for R8 are about 5 10,000ths to 8 10,000ths, anywhere in between there, runout. On average for a good one, about 5 6 10,000ths. And how does that compare, though, to the BT-30? Let's take a look. I'll set these down over here so they don't fall off, and we'll talk about the BT-30 tooling. One of the beautiful parts about the BT-30 tooling is just like this one. This is accurate. This is a runout of 1/10,000th of an inch runout. In fact, it's really common to find inexpensive tooling that's BT-30 that is 1 or 2/10,000ths of an inch runout. That is a factor of between 3 and 4 times better than even the collet itself for the R8 system. So now we're really talking about a precision machine. So now imagine that your mill is working with things that are commercial grade, 1 or 2/10,000ths run out when it comes to the tooling. That is something that is genuinely special in the small mill world. Now, the other thing that we had to consider is that we really like the idea of the dual contact system with the Tormach. Now, we already know the Tormach has some problems with error stacking, but what about that extra rigidity you get from having a dual contact system? If you don't know what I'm talking about, let me explain it. If you can imagine this collet, it fits up into the mill's spindle, right? And what it does is it pulls onto this piece and it kind of sucks this up into the spindle, and then this part, this flange right here, it rests on the spindle's face. And that gives it wider leverage, and now you've got more rigidity to your machine, and we really like that. In fact, if you are stuck with only being able to use an R8, or that's simply your preference, then I really like using this so long as you can tolerate the amount of runout that you're going to get. Now, we wondered, what about if we lose, if we're missing out on the dual contact system by going with the BT-30, is it ultimately going to make a difference? Is it going to actually net put us backward than where we want to be? Here's what we found out. If you take a look, actually I'll grab this back again. If you take a look at the BT-30, look how much taper there is right there, and look how much taper there is right there on the R8. Now, width-wise, these are actually approximately the same. This is only slightly larger, but the taper is so much longer. And unfortunately, in a lot of R8 situations, this taper hangs outside of the actual bearings themselves, and that is not where you want to have the load hanging outside of the bearings, because that makes it like a lever pushing against the bearings. Now, let's take a look at the headstock that you can now get with the BT. All right, here is our mock-up headstock right here, and this is actually a very accurate 3D print of the spindle itself. So this seats up in here. Now, if you take a look at where those bearings are, and you take a look at where this taper is, right there, those bearings almost completely encapsulate the entire taper length, and that is exactly where you want your tooling to rest, is on the inside of these bearings. And by using a double stack of bearings and it capturing this almost entire thing right here, it has multiple benefits. Number one, it more than accommodated rigidity-wise. In fact, it was better rigidity-wise than what we got for benefits of the dual contact through the Tormach system. And because we have these dual bearings, this long taper fits all the way up into these bearings, it does an excellent job of transferring energy from the cutter into the tooling, into the bearings, into the headstock, then into the Z-axis carriage column, and so on. So what we ended up getting was much better energy management. And the reality of it is, milling, by and large, is about energy management. That's what gives you some really good finishes. Here's something else that ended up being really unique about this. So again, in a nutshell, to answer the question, yes, this turned out to be a significant improvement to the Tormach tooling system by virtue of both the accuracy, which is radically higher, and the dampening qualities when it came to the energy. And here's another cool thing about this. Remember at the beginning we talked about, okay, you can use a drawbar on this thing, or you can use a pedal clamp system with a pneumatic cylinder if you want. I would tell you this, if you're going to create an automatic tool changing system, obviously you definitely have to go with a pedal clamp system and a pneumatic system. But if you don't plan on making an automated tool changing system, I highly recommend that you go with the drawbar. Here's why. If you take a look, there's a drawbar in here, and all of these are threaded on the inside. All you have to do for really, really rapid tool change is you'll just place it inside, get yourself a handy dandy impact driver with a 3/8 inch socket adapter and the appropriate socket for the top of that drawbar, and you just zip that thing in there, screw it in, and it'll just pull the tooling right up in there just perfectly. When you're done and you want to swap out the tooling, just hit reverse on your impact driver, unzip it, and it pops right out. You have a tool change within just seconds. So no more fiddling around if you have an ER system only. It's a little bit more work for sure getting that off. No more touching this off if you already have the height already measured. And it's fast. It is just so fast to do that and so easy. So you'll now have that with your new spindle. Now let's talk about what probably a lot of you are wondering is, okay, how much is this thing? And you said this is a pre-order. What does that mean? And so on. Okay, so when I say pre-order, that means, again, that we have most of the engineering is all done. We've got our prices from their suppliers. We just have to place the orders, and we obviously want to place as big an order as possible to reduce the amount of cost, right? Makes sense? So what we decided we'd do is we'd do a pre-order, and we would also reward those people who were quick to order. So we divided it into 3 different levels that you can order. I'm going to set these down. You can order either what we call our platinum level, our gold level, or our silver level. Here's what's included in the platinum. For those of you who are early adopters, and I'm going to have to apologize ahead of time because I did a previous video on this, and I am the person who actually sets up the e-commerce system online. I messed something up and people went to go ahead and buy, and it was messing up because of a setting that I did. So we're actually opening this platinum up to a handful more people, but just a handful more people, and you'll find out why in just a second. For the platinum reward customers, you'll be getting a matched precision set of angular contact bearings, and they'll be ABEX 7 quality. That is a substantial upgrade, and you'll be getting those for free if you are among those very first buyers. Now originally, like I say, we only opened this up to 2 people, and so many people came in to try to buy, and I had a setting wrong. I just went ahead and said, you know what, I'm going to open this up to more people, a handful more people, so you can take advantage of it. In addition to this match set of angular contact bearings, you'll be getting a spindle that's balanced to 10,000 RPM, and you'll be getting our new ribbed 2-step pulley. If you already own one of our motors, we'll also have available the matching pulley for the motor that came from us. Also, we have, if these are all sold out, we have the gold package. Now the gold package for rewards will include 2 ABEX 7 deep groove bearings, and it'll also have the balanced spindle to 10,000 RPM, and you'll have the 2-step ribbed pulley. Now if you miss out on all those, because we're only keeping that open to 15 customers, if you miss out on all that, then you can do the silver package. The silver package will have our standard deep groove ABEX 5 bearings, but what you will get is you'll get the spindle balanced to 10,000 RPM, and you'll also get the ribbed pulley thrown in there. Now all of these offers though will expire August 31st. We obviously got to put a cap on it somewhere. So these expire August 31st, and that may also alter the pricing because this is our introductory pricing. Hopefully all that makes sense. Before I go about how to order, something I do want to also encourage you to please do is this video or the web page here, please share this in as many spots as you can if you're part of machinist forums or want to join some to share it, or part of Facebook groups. There's a Taig one, there's Sherline. Please share it in there. That would be awesome for us. Okay, so let's talk about how to go ahead and order and what to do next. What to do next, if you're not on our website, go to our website, GlockCNC.com. In the top menu, you'll see a menu item that says BT-30 Headstock, so go there. If you're watching this on that page already, then you're one step ahead of the game. On the page, you're going to see more information about the headstock itself, and there'll be different buttons on there and a couple spots that says Buy Now. You'll push that, give it a few seconds, it'll take you to our store, and there'll be a couple options in there. There'll be that platinum, the gold, and the silver options in there. Now, if any of those levels are already sold out, it'll say sold out on it, and then you'll just kind of want to hustle and take the next best level before that too sells out, if that all makes sense. So there you have it. This is a really robust little headstock. I think you're going to be super happy with this, and the introductory pricing is really good on this. Go ahead, take advantage of it now, because if you wait, these are going to slip, and I'm not sure where the price is going to land after all of this. So once again, this is James Diamond with GlockCNC, and I shall talk to you later.